Joe Barger was a daytime truck driver hauling a load of paper through the Manistee National Forest. He had an airline hose break on his truck. He had options. Offer a repair would take 3 hours, or get out and fix it myself, take 10 minutes. He gets out, fixes himself. He notices something watching him from the tree line. He thinks it's a bear. Gets in the car, or his big 18-wheeler rig, starts moving, looks over his rearview mirror, and a 12-foot dog man is running after him. And he says it takes 3 or 4 steps, jumps onto his car, sticks his head through the passenger window, takes up the whole entire passenger window, has a hand that's bigger than his steering wheel. Joe Barger goes into a fear mode. I covered this in great detail. He's internet famous. I've talked to his wife. I've tried to get him on the show. One day I will. So Joe Barger had a .357 pistol in the middle of the seat. He pulls it out, lets off 2 rounds, hits this thing in the head, and drops it. He drives 1 mile away with his hand shaking, turns around to go back, and when he gets back, there's a white Jeep with an older man, and an older woman standing there. And he's like, hey, what are you guys doing? He tries to tell him it's dangerous. He's like, oh, no, we just saw a bear drag another bear into the woods. And he's like, where did you guys come from? Why are you here? How'd you get here? He's like, oh, no, we were just driving through. It was strange. 3 months, so Joe Barger goes and tells everybody this story. 3 months later, Joe Barger gets pulled over at one of those mandatory truck stops, where you have to get weighed. They detain him. State troopers detain him. 45 minutes later, 2 federal agents show up and tell him, you killed our asset. Stop talking about that. We're confiscating your weapons. Do you know what federal agency that was? Department of Homeland Security. They said to prove our point, they shut his bank accounts off for 3 days. He didn't talk about it for years. He's just now starting to go back on the circuit and tell his story, right? I've often told you times that they're growing these things. They're letting these things go into our national forest to study them, is one of the theories they have, and it's not illegal. What do you mean it's not illegal? Well, I've told you several times on my show that Congress tried to pass a law. But I went back and got that law for you today. H.R. 810, the Human-Animal Chimera Prohibition Act of 2005, was a bill introduced by the U.S. Congress that said it would be illegal for the United States government to take human stem cells, which is us, and implant them into animal embryos, creating what they would say animals with significant human neurological traits, basically smarter animals, right? Guess who stepped in and shut it down? It didn't pass because the Department of Homeland Security stepped in and said, this can't pass because it's going to affect our research on pig transplants for human hearts. That's what they said. And so they shot it down. So again, why would the Department of Homeland Security be involved with animal heart transplants for pig? You don't know anybody with a pig heart. You don't. Sure, you might know somebody with a pig valve, maybe in their heart, one of their upper right ventricles or something. You don't know anybody with a pig heart. You don't know anybody with a pig heart that has to have a special law in effect so that we can grow pigs to give them hearts. It doesn't exist, right? The DHS shut it down is because we're growing them. The Department of Homeland Security is the federal cover for the U.S. military, not even military really, this U.S. government's Black Ops program to create and study animal-human hybrids. Look it up.
Subscribe now and turn on notifications to join us on this extraordinary journey into the unknown.